John, I hear it's your first week of fantasy playoffs this year. What's going on?
Primed, ready to go, ready to win.
Crosby apparently has the mumps.
Ouch.
Yikes.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? We're playing the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 15 edition of the Friday Night Insight. I am your host, Jim Sella. You're listening to The Spread. I'm in studio today with Johnny Parlay and J-Dash. J-Dash, producer extraordinaire. Dash, you ready for this?
J-Dash is ready.
J-Dash. So listen, John's fantasy team's still in the playoffs. It's his first week. He had a bye.
Correct.
Dash, you're the fantasy guru of all time ever.
Please believe.
Why are you not still in the playoffs?
Because my team's garbage.
All right. That was just a point I wanted to make.
No, I lost. I went up against DeMarco Murray. So that's why you're going to lose right there.
Well,
that'll do it to you.
Hopefully he does what he did last week.
Yeah.
This week, of course, he was on a bye. My team had a great week last week on their bye. I scored over 200 points. Everyone went off. It was crazy.
Well, I know.
And I had no one to smash into the ground.
Frank Gore goes up against Seattle, so you're going to want to stay far away from him. But Joyke Bell has a great matchup this week, and I think that is a must-play.
Got to.
The Imposter Bell?
Got to.
The Imposter Bell, yes.
J Bell. And
The real Bell is L Bell.
I haven't played Frank Gore for about 6 weeks now. I think his biggest week was 28, followed by a 14, and everything else has been single digits.
Yeah.
The dude's beat.
He's had some tough matchups. Last week I thought he was going to be a little bit better, but he wasn't.
I keep saying Carlos Hyde should be the man. Nobody listens.
He's garbage.
He's officially
Better than you.
Gore is officially
okay.
off my never. Gore is officially on my never draft again list.
He's on the Reggie Bush list.
Yep, the Reggie Bush list.
He's falling apart.
But I'm playing my arch nemesis this week. Someone who
Justin
I just
True?
Yep, I'd love to smash him into the ground more than anything. I think Yahoo disabled our smack talk because I was too harsh because it's not up there anymore. I don't know. We have no box for smack talking after last week. I put him in his place. He was being a little. He was telling his opponent last week after the game, congratulations on a great season. Now, if that ain't passive-aggressive, I don't know what is. I said, you little prick. It wasn't even my game, but I had a bye week. I should have been relaxing. No way.
No, you couldn't relax.
I was scouting, and I just tore him apart for that little comment, that Schneid comment. What a prick.
Hey, he joined a gym. You better watch out. He's going to get pumped up.
A gym?
A gym, like
a GYM.
Yeah, GYM, not a JIM like me.
Wow. That's how they make their money. The person who comes once and quits.
All day.
You're going down, True.
Well, what about a guy who never quit ever in his life at probably anything? Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre have been getting compared a lot the last couple days. They have an identical record, win-loss record, through first 100 games of their career. Aaron Rodgers has the better stats, more touchdowns, less INTs. Brett obviously threw a lot of picks, but the biggest stats that stand out to me is Brett Favre's 3 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl victories, and Aaron Rodgers 1 Super Bowl and 1 MVP.
It's really all that matters at the end of the day, right?
Super Bowls, that's what I say.
I mean, it's a new league, offensive bias, it's craziness. Anyone from back in the day who'd have played in this league would have such better, more inflated stats. That's obvious.
Obviously, yes.
There's constantly being records broken. It's the time of record breaking. It happens. A handful of records are broken every season, it seems, and it's just going to keep happening.
In the passing game, yes.
Yes. Yeah, there's no defensive records being set, that's for sure.
Well, I think New Orleans gave up the most yards, or Dallas, one of those two teams ever.
Negative defensive records. I'm sure an NFL team has put up 60, but when will the first 70-point game be? It's got to be coming.
I don't know if there's been a 70-point game in the NFL. I don't think so, but you got to figure it'll be here in the next couple seasons.
Got to be. Check the archives, J-Dash.
It depends. If a team can keep up with them, make it like 70-63 or something, I could see it happening. But if a team's just blowing a team out, they usually just give up in the end and start running the ball.
Grounded pound.
Well, what about our boy Sidney Crosby? I seen a picture on Twitter today. It makes it look like the right side of his face is all swollen. And now there's a rumor going around that he's got mumps.
I don't know what that... He looks photoshopped. I'm going to say tooth infection. I don't know where they got the mumps from. Isn't that for, like, little kids? It's like the bubonic plague or something. Ain't that a thing in the past?
Well, the mumps is somehow running amok through the NHL right now with, poor sanitation and stuff in training rooms, locker rooms, things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for something to spread like that. How many times does a different team come into your locker room? How many different people are on that team, and then the different people they come in contact with?
Gross.
Yeah, so sports is kind of gross. I think wrestling is one of the grossest things because there's like blood all over the mat. And you're
Wrestling's definitely gross. You get in spandex and wrestle around with another dude. That
everything about it.
I don't understand it at all. Why you would want to be that close to another dude in spandex just doesn't give me any type of excitement.
My one buddy in middle school quit his wrestling team right before a match because he had a huge boner. He said he didn't want to go out in front of everybody, so he just quit right there.
I ain't even gonna do it. I quit.
Could have been Olympic champion, but hey, nature ran
Well, my
its
question
course.
is, why did he have a huge boner right before a wrestling match?
I didn't ask much after that. I just thought that was a good story.
Happens when you're young. Just happens. Right before you get up on that pull-up bar, that's the worst.
Ugh. What do you think? Crosby had a boner, and maybe maybe he just got rid of a boner, and all the blood was rushing back to the rest of his body, and it just flooded to his face.
Maybe he had something in his mouth he shouldn't have.
You never know.
See him with the hot chicken. I mean, dude's making mill. You always see these young athletes with their lady friends, and I've never seen him with one.
Maybe he keeps it more private and has about 4 or 5 lady friends over a night.
Oh, he's probably a sneaky guy like that. He's learned from the best Mario, so maybe.
It's a Mario.
Let's switch base to another sports franchise in Pittsburgh. Dash's favorite team of all time, even though I have no idea why. The Pittsburgh We Love to Lose Pirates. Buccos re-signed Liriano this year. 3 years?
39.
$39 million. That is the highest per year average for a Pirates contract ever. Am I correct?
That is what I heard, yes.
Okay, and I'm tired of people saying, look, we went out in the free agent market and spent all this money. They spent the money, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they didn't, but they didn't go out on the free agent market. They brought a guy back. But yes, they did spend a little bit of money to try to win, so kudos to them for that. I am a little nervous about the Liriano signing for 3 years. I was hoping maybe for 2 years.
Well, he wanted 5, so I'm very happy with 3.
Yeah. But I'm just afraid because the guy has never really had 2 back-to-back good years in his career.
Well, the one good thing is if he can last 2 years like you hope, the third year we should have Glasnow, Tyon, and Kingham up in the majors. So there should be enough pitching to go around for the next 3 to 5 years.
Until all of them need Tommy John surgery again.
Well, you can rebound from it.
Just seems to me like, is that where you want to spend your money on Liriano? He's definitely getting up there in age. Had a little bit of an off season last year, but like you said, Jim, that means this year he's stoked for an all-star season.
Is that where you want to be when Jesus comes back?
I mean, you're putting all that much money. Why don't you save that money for these young guys coming up through the system to keep them here?
Well, they want to give.
Well, that's going to be years.
They want to give Volquez.
So crazy. Rookies come into the league and you own them for 7 to 9 years. It's just ridiculous. They don't get their big contract until they're after 30 years old. And they better be good by then or they never get a big contract.
It's a working man's sport, blue-collar sport for the most part until you really start performing and get older.
Well, speaking of blue-collar, I don't even know if you could rate him blue-collar, but the Pirates want to throw $10 million a year at Edison Volquez. I know he was the reclamation project of the year, and everybody said he was the best pitcher on the staff last year, or most consistent pitcher maybe. But there is no way I'm giving $10 million a year to a guy who's just been pretty much garbage through his whole entire career.
I don't think you're going to find a great top-end starter for $10 million a year, though. That $10 million is just the price of doing business.
That's pretty cheap.
Well, you got Cole, you got Liriano, and you got Burnett, so you're going to be paying Volquez $10 million a year to be at best a 4 starter.
No, I'd say a 3rd starter. Put Burnett at number 4, and those top 4 look great to me. And then Kingham or Glasnow or Tyon in there. Whew. A nice pitching staff to me, but I really want to see them sign Volquez or someone equal to or better than him at least.
Well, what about your boy Charlie Morton? You left him out of there.
Yeah, I like Vance Worley better than Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton isn't a terrible number 4, number 5 guy, but if you don't need him, you don't need him. He does make, $7 million a year or something, $7 to $10 million a year, so he probably will be in there at the 5th spot for now, but personally, I like Worley better.
It's ridiculous to me that these major league players make so much money when they're barely even able to crack a starting lineup. Baseball needs to change something.
Lots of players, lots of money.
I was going to try to start a hashtag the other day, Go Nutting's Wallet, because everybody's so excited because they're finally spending money now.
Well, they spent $90 million. I'd like to see them about 10 million more, get up around the $100 million mark, and then there should be no problems.
Yeah, hit the triple digits on there.
Well, what about the story from the winter meetings that the Pirates have been trying to shop Pedro Alvarez around? I read a report from Dejan Kovacevic today that says the Buccos tried shopping him. They didn't really have any takers. There's some grumblings maybe in the locker room or just within the organization that Pedro doesn't want to play first base, and he's not really putting in the extra work to try to learn the position.
Well, I've been following the winter meetings the past week, 4 days, and it seems like they put him on the trading block, but it didn't seem like they were going out and shopping him. They weren't being aggressive or anything. There was a couple teams that came to them. One I know of was the Marlins. They were trying to trade Nate Eovaldi for Pedro. And if the Pirates could go out and get someone like Alan Craig and maybe another decent left-handed first baseman, I wouldn't mind that trade so much, because then you have someone. I think Eovaldi's a little bit better than Volquez, so if he was our number 3, our pitching staff would look great, but I still rather have Pedro Alvarez right now.
What would the Marlins do with him? Put him at third? Because don't they have Stanton at first?
No, Stanton is an outfielder.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Casey McGee plays third
Was
and
Stanton
first for
first
them, so.
before ever in his career? Am
No,
I just
he's
stupid?
been an outfielder.
Okay.
You know your baseball. I'll say that, Jim. But I think, you got to stick with Pedro. Who knows? He could still, I know it sounds crazy, he could still turn into one of the biggest terrors with that bat in the league. I think there's no doubt about that. If he don't perform this year and he's just terrible, then ship him out, find his ears, and ship him out too. Just
the way I see it is, you want to put him on the trading block, see what people were going to offer for him, but this wasn't the time to trade him. Wait till has a little bit more, what's the word?
Seasoning, brined.
Yeah, it was coming off his worst year. That's not the time you want to trade someone. You want to trade them when they have some value.
But
Dude
what
is
if he
young.
isn't putting in the work to get better at this position and he never gets any better and his worth doesn't go up?
Well, then eventually you're just going to have to get rid of him. But
Then you
right
put out-
now, he can't go down. So it's all up from here. So you might as well wait. But if you're going to get a decent offer in the offseason now, you might as well kick the tires a little bit.
You see how he does this year, and if he slacks, you don't work out hard. Come the offseason, you put out a press release that says, Pedro has never worked harder in his life, and then you ship him out.
Well, who's going to play first base if we ship him out and don't get a first baseman in return?
Well, that's the thing. If they were saying the Marlins were trying to give us a Eovaldi for him, that's great for our pitching staff. But if you're not going to go out and make a trade for someone like Alan Craig, then it makes no sense because they have absolutely no first baseman then.
Well, what about Lambeau? Doesn't he have just as good of a chance of learning the position as Alvarez? Especially if he has a better attitude towards learning the position?
Sure, he probably could be a better first baseman than Pedro, but it's not about the first base. It's about the bat, and Lambeau definitely doesn't have the bat that Pedro has.
Well, last year Pedro's bat looked like, I don't know, a broomstick because he wasn't hitting anything.
Yeah, his average is never going to be high, but he still hit 18 home runs, and he wasn't playing for much of the season. You remember, he was on our bench for a while.
Because he's garbage. Well, let's switch gears again. Let's start talking about some Pitt football. Everybody knows college really isn't my thing. The Pitt Panthers are looking at losing their head football coach for, God, I don't even know, the third, fourth time in like the last 5-6 years. They went from Wannstedt to that guy that beat his wife to that guy who left after 1 year to Paul Chris. I mean, come on. This whole program's in disarray. And not like some programs are after they get caught by the NCAA doing things they shouldn't be. But it's not a top-flight program. It has never been a top-flight program in my lifetime. And I really don't think it ever will be.
No, I mean, Pitt football, who really cares? I'm not interested. I'm totally disinterested. They've never had anything happening there. They brought Marino through and Larry Fitz.
Dorsett.
But, I mean, where are the championships? They're non-existent.
They have
I mean,
one or
throughout
two,
the
I
whole
think.
program, Pitt football, Pitt
One, maybe?
basketball.
You gotta look at it. It's crazy. The players they produce turn out to be some of the best players in the NFL. Look, Darrelle Revis was considered one of the best cornerbacks for how long? LaShawn McCoy was considered the best running back coming into this season. Who's that D tackle? Larry Fitzgerald, considered one of the best receivers. That D tackle.
Aaron McDonald, I think his name was.
They actually rated him the number 1 D tackle earlier in this season. So they're producing some of the best players in the NFL, but they just don't have the depth.
Yeah, they just never pull it together, that's for sure.
I think some of that might be the Western PA and Jersey pipeline we have for recruiting. Players that are good, that want to stay close to home on the East Coast, Pitt isn't a terrible program. Like I said, we're not saying Pitt's the worst program ever here. But
I am.
They're not going to be they're lucky to crack the top 25 rankings each year. And if it happens, it's usually for a week or two, and then they blow it.
Don't forget Joe Flacco went to Pitt for a minute.
Block Flacco. But you're never going to see Pitt in the talk for those top 4 national championship playoff games. It's just not going to happen.
Their fans get all hyped up. I think they even say this is the year,
all
things
the time.
like that. But it ain't never going to be the year for Pitt. I'm telling you. They don't have it all together. I mean, I think people just go to Pitt like, yeah, it'll produce stars, but that's because those stars, they're probably not that bright, and they're just trying to get through the curriculum. I mean, I went to Pitt, and I graduated, so what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Yeah.
They'll let anyone through. So I think the athletes that just can't cut it academically are the ones who go to Pitt. And like I said about these joke fans, like they get so hyped up. They got this Oakland Zoo for the basketball team. More like a kill shelter. I'll tell you what, like they're another fake team. They're fake, I mean, people really think every year that Pitt basketball could take the championship.
Never.
But they're weak as it comes. Jamie Dixon seems like a great coach. He's a great regular season coach. He turned them into a winner, but he ain't getting them past the Sweet 16. No way.
No, he's a above average coach who's good at recruiting. He's good at, keeping this PA and Jersey pipeline. He's good at going around and getting these local guys. He's probably real good with the parents, sitting down in the living room with these kids. So their parents are probably talking some of these guys into going to Pitt because they know Dixon. He at least runs the program the right way. You got to give him a little bit of credit there.
And then
he doesn't have all the guys getting arrested and stuff all the time and all the controversy. We're not raping anybody or beating anybody or anything like that.
I think his style of basketball is a good way to win basketball games, just not a good way to beat top 10 teams.
Yeah, it's not going to win you college basketball. It's a little closer to what the NBA plays as far as defensively.
He can win in college basketball. He can beat 150 teams. It's just the other 10 teams.
Well, yeah, but those teams have the high scoring, and Pitt has never been high scoring. They're more focused around defense. So, the Pitt Panthers may develop you a little better to be an NBA player, but they're not going to beat a Kentucky when they have 4 or 5 starters going in the first round in an NBA draft.
He's just
all freshmen.
He's just
all freshmen,
schmoozing the parents, man. He's telling them, listen, I know your kid's not that bright. Johnny Parlay graduated from Pitt, so it won't be a problem. We'll get your boy through.
I graduated from Pitt Greensburg, so what's that say about me?
Hey, well, I was Johnstown, so I guess I didn't even go to the big one. But
man, I'm Cal U Vulcan. I feel left out. Everybody from my school gets arrested. 27 Cal U players arrested this year.
Yeah, I think Ray Rice went to Cal U.
He probably did. All right, guys, it's time for the best segment ever, our Friday night pick of the week.
Drips, drips, drips.
Dripping all day. Dash, who do you got this week?
I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. They are -4 at Buffalo. Buffalo is a decent team, but I don't see them keeping up with Green Bay, just like they didn't keep up with Denver last week.
I think Green Bay's 3-3 on the road this year, so it's an interesting pick, but I don't know if Buffalo has the offense to keep up with Green Bay.
If Fred Jackson can get it done, they might, but besides that, I'd say no. Cal Orton's not going to come out and beat the Green Bay Packers.
Well, Buffalo did look good in Denver last weekend, and they kept it close. And I think they're going to take this one. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they can definitely cover the 4. I think it's a nice spotting job. Start the game 4-0 and lose by 3. Go Bills.
Well, Parlay, what's your pick of the week?
Well, last week I was ice cold, and this week I'm ice cold physiologically. It's freezing in the studio. We need to get the sponsors to kick in.
Am I
to help
working
pay
with
the
girls
heating
or
bill.
men?
Well, I'm saying let's get the sponsors to kick in the heating bill,
You're working with a 145-pound man here, dude. I'm freezing.
These cold winters in the Pittsburgh area just ain't cutting it, but I'm going to warm it up with my whole week's picks. And my pick of the week, it was absurd last week. I took Tampa. I think they played Detroit. They were getting 7, I think. I think they lost by 14, so a late touchdown when they gave me a push. But it just didn't happen. I'm going to stick with that lucky number 7 this week, getting 7. I'm going to take the Vikings +7 at Detroit. I've been waiting for Detroit to fall apart all year, and it hasn't happened. So let's have it happen this week.
Bridgewater to Charles Johnson all day.
Teddy's got some more confidence. He's been listening to the show. He heard Dash finally figure his name out.
That's right. Follow us, Teddy Bridgewater.
At bet_the_spread.
In the Facebook page.
Come on, Teddy.
Like the spread. But that's your pick of the week, folks.
All right, well, I got, and this, I need a drum roll for this, please, because Johnny Parlay can finally get off my back for this.
By the way, Jim, you lost your last 4 picks of the week.
I'm in a bad streak.
So you got to pick it up.
I got to pick up the pick of the week. Where's that drum roll at, Parlay? You bring that up yet?
No drum roll for you.
All right, my pick of the week this week, I'm going to go out a limb. I'm finally going to get Johnny Parlay off my back.
Nope.
Oakland Raiders plus 10.5 at Kansas City.
Wow, he's taking an underdog, and he's taking a team with a losing record. My head is spinning.
Well, let me tell you right now, this is a division game, so 10.5, it seems like a lock to me. I know I've lost my last 4 picks of the week, so everybody can laugh at me every time I say something's a lock.
Yeah.
Oakland and Kansas City always play each other tough. They've been playing each other for years and years and years. They've been in the same division. It doesn't matter if one team's great and one team's garbage. These games are almost never blowouts. So I'm just kind of praying that Oakland's going to keep it close, not necessarily thinking that they're going to win. But Kansas City's offense, I don't even think they have a touchdown pass to a wide receiver yet this year. If they do, it's maybe 1 or 2. So I don't even see them being able to score more than 10 points than Oakland at all.
27-10 Chiefs, no doubt. You sure you don't want to take the Pats or the Packers, Indy? You sure?
No thanks, buddy. I'm sticking with Oakland.
You want to
Pick
take
of the week.
The NFC All-Stars?
Let's not forget Oakland beat
the
San
Seahawks?
Francisco last week.
Yeah, San Fran looks pretty terrible also. But I like Oakland, but I don't like them this week. 27-10 Chiefs. So I scoff at your pick of the week.
Hey,
Scoff.
You can scoff at whatever you want, but whenever I win and get back on track, I'll be the one laughing at you.
I'm thinking that Kansas City's gonna lead by more than 10 after the first quarter.
Well, Big Easy is not in studio with us yet. He is still working today. If you guys want to hear his pick of the week, you got to check out our line segment, which we'll be posting later tonight. I want to thank you fans for listening. Thank you, Dash and Johnny Parlay, for coming in. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel.
Go get your shine box.
Believe it.